Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rabia Carvalho. I'm a personal transformational life coach and Reiki master in Durban, South Africa. In this video, we're going to look at 4 reasons why it is that you possibly do not have what you want right now. So let's look at the 4 reasons why you don't have what you want right now. Number 1, the first reason why you may not have what you want is that you actually don't know what it is that you want. You haven't quite had a picture in your mind of where it is you're wanting to go, how it is that you want to live, who it is that you want to live with, and so forth. So maybe you are thinking of going into a marriage and you're not entirely sure if this is the right person for you. Consider what it is that you're wanting to get out of a full-time relationship or a marriage, and then go from there. Perhaps it's business related, perhaps it's work related. Always ask yourself, what is it that I actually want? So many times the things that we want are tainted by what other people want for us. And at the end of the day, those people may be there today, they may not be there tomorrow. So you have to be able to live with yourself. I always say, when you put your head down on that pillow at the end of the day, you've got to be comfortable that you are okay with you, that your conscience and your plans that you have for yourself and the surroundings that you are in line, if not with what you want to have, but they are in line with where you are going and what it is that you want to achieve. So step 1 to having what you want is actually knowing what it is that you want and setting goals towards it. To have a broad idea really isn't enough. You really want to sit down and have a vision for yourself of what you want your life to work through, and then start to put the work towards it. The second reason why you may not have what you want is that you're on a path towards something that you are interested in but not necessarily committed to. You see, we're all interested in many things. You may be interested in learning, for example, about plants, but you're not committed to doing something with plants. You may be perhaps interested in numbers but not committed to being an accountant or being a financial minded person. You may be interested in growing in your career, but you lack the commitment that goes behind it. So there's a difference between something that you are interested in doing and something that you really, really want to do. And what is the difference? The difference is passion. Passion and hunger. Passion to achieve. Passion means you remain undaunted. You know that that's what you want. That's the direction you're going in. And nothing and nobody is going to stop you, no matter what obstacles they throw at you. You're going to go around them. You're going to go over them. You're going to go under them. You're going to blast through them. But you are going where you are going. That is passion. That is desire. That is a can-do attitude. You will learn. You will grow. You will take on these challenges and see them as challenges and not as problems. That is how you know that you want something and you're committed to something, rather than being interested in something. People who are interested in something also tend to complain a lot when they don't have what it is that they want. They're interested in this, and it's like a little child throwing a tantrum that, oh, this isn't going according to their will, that isn't going the way they wanted, this person isn't cooperating, that person isn't doing what they want. And that type of attitude is actually very dangerous in relationships, whether it's businesses or personal relationships, because people develop this tunnel vision that other people have to fulfill their needs, their desires, their wants. And that takes us to the reason number 3, complacency and entitlement. I've grouped those two together because often they go hand in hand. We find that there are people who want a particular thing and they say, well, I want it, and the world needs to just get in line and give me what it is that I want. It doesn't work that way. You've got to work towards it. We see that, unfortunately, a lot in South Africa, where there are people who have perhaps endured quite a lot in the past, and so their children or their grandchildren will now turn around and say, well, they didn't have it, so now I demand X and Y and Z, without having an understanding of what it takes to actually work towards that. I'll give you an example. I had a lady come to see me once, and she was looking for work, and she said to me, Rabia, I'm not prepared to work for less than 15,000 Rand a month. I said, well, what is your work experience? She said, well, I've just graduated. and I'm okay. So you've just graduated and you're expecting the salary of somebody who's been working for 3 to 5 years already. How does that work? Well, that's what I do. You know, if I have a modeling contract, then that's what I will get. And my response was, well, then perhaps you should consider staying in modeling, because what's driving you is to have something given to you for a small exchange, shall we say. And I'm not saying that models don't work hard. I'm just saying in this particular instance, this was the dynamic. So the attitude of entitlement comes in when we expect others to do for us without there being a reciprocation, where we blame others for not doing for us without doing any of the work. This is especially seen in relationships. It can be from the man's side and it can be from the woman's side. Make no mistake, men are not the only ones who become abusers in the world because they want, they demand, they must have, and that is the way it is. There are unfortunately women like that as well. And there are many personality disorders that contribute to that, and I don't want to sidetrack. But yes, if you have an attitude of entitlement with complacency, where you feel that it's the other person's duty to do the work, it's the world's responsibility to make you happy, it's everybody else's duty to come and do what it is that you need to do for yourself, they need to simply give it to you on a silver tray, well, then you are setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting yourself up for a major shock, because that's just not the way that the world works. So you need to be able to have a goal, know where it is you're going, and be prepared to do the work. You've got to have the discipline, the drive, the self-restraint, and the determination to move forward. Complacency and entitlement are just not going to work. Right, so reason number 3 why we don't get what we want in this life is time management. Time management. In order to manage our time, we need to know what we're going to do. We need to be able to break that down into secondary and possibly tertiary tasks, and we need to then address to each of those tasks certain activities. You see, here's the thing. People who are successful and who actually reach their goals are not the kind of person that sits and says, I don't feel like doing this today. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I really feel like not having sugar. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I really feel like being nice to people who are not nice to me. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I really feel like getting up on a Saturday morning bright and early and actually work towards my goals. It's not about how you feel. It's about what you want. If I was to say to you, what is your goal? And you say to me, I want to make $100,000 or rands or whatever your currency is in the next year. And I say to you, well, how do you intend to do that? Oh, I'm a salesperson. Okay, great. So now how do you intend to do that? Oh, no, I will get enough clients to sell that amount and make that commission. Okay, how do you intend to do that? Well, I've got a list of clients that I can call. I've got a database that I can contact. Okay, but how do you intend to do that? What I'm trying to get at is take that 100,000 Rand, break it down into an amount per month for the year, if that is your goal in a year. Break it down for the year. Take it and say, right, if that's what I have to do in a year, what do I have to do per month? What then within that month do I need to be making per week? Now within that week, what it is that I need to be doing every single day in order to meet my daily target, my weekly target, my monthly target, and then the big goal at the end of the year, the big block of cheese. So if that is a business related, that's just an example, but perhaps it's a relationship thing and you're wanting to be happy. So many women will come and see me and they say, Robbie, all I want is to be happy. Well, there are different definitions of what happiness is, and that is determined by our expectations, number 1, and the work that we put into it, number 2. So time management. How do you manage your time in order to achieve those particular tasks, those particular actions or activities that you need to fulfill every week, every month, every day, every year? What is it that you are contributing to the process of reaching your goals? So these are the 4 things. Number 1 is that you may not know where you're going. Number 2 is that it might be an interest and not an actual goal. Number 3 is that your time management may be out. And the very last reason that you may find that you don't have what it is that you want is complacency and entitlement. So if you're one of those people that is sitting there and questioning yourself as to why you do not have what it is that you want, why it is that there is always a stumbling block in front of you, why it is that you just are unhappy, you cannot get happy, you cannot make yourself happy, you're expecting other people to do this and that and that, and you say to yourself, when my husband or wife does XYZ, then I'll be happy. I've got news for you. You won't be. Until you are committed to a process, you are not going to be happy. If you are avoiding responsibility for something and you are therefore pushing everything onto anyone else and playing the blame game that your business is not functioning because somebody else has a business like that, well, then you didn't do your planning correctly. You didn't plan and strategize and position yourself geographically correctly. If you are looking at other couples and saying, why do they have a happy marriage and I don't? Well, that's not on them, that's on you. If you are saying, well, my parents didn't have the money to help me do this or that or the other, nobody has the responsibility to make you happy. Not your husband, not your wife, not your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your children, you. Only you can do it. But you've got to get your head out of the sand. You've got to start to realize that taking a step further requires commitment and requires that you focus on where you are headed. And lastly, it requires that you have a plan. So I hope that this video has helped to point out where it is that you might be going wrong and what it is that you need to do in order to straighten out your situation or to move towards your goals. As I've said before, if you like the video, please do click like for us. You can follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, The Healing Center 786, and we hope to be able to continue to inspire you to living your greatest life. Assalamu alaikum.